Hello, everybody. This is the end of a civilization model, but the beginning of a lot of new ones, and that's what I want to share with you today. So my name is Vincent Liegey. I am a researcher. I'm a co-author of several books on degrowth. I'm a consultant. I am a university professor. I'm a lecturer. I give talks all around Europe on this topic for almost more than 50 years, almost 2 decades, and I'm also a coordinator of a cooperative where we try to experiment in our daily life a new way of life based on enjoyment of life, of course sustainability, conviviality and so on. And that's what I want to share with you today. So I will start with a diagnosis. Where are we? We are on the tipping point. We are at the end of something. We are here, up on this peak. Here, this curve, that's the world population of Homo sapiens, our allied species. Population of human beings, which started 300,000 years ago. We started an adventure on this planet. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we've been experimenting a lot of things, a lot of way of life, a lot of imaginaries, a lot of traditions, a lot of spiritualities. It's been hard, it's been nice, it's been a lot of fantastic creativity and adventure and so on. But for thousands of years, the number of Homo sapiens on this very planet didn't really grow. It started to change a bit 12,000 years ago, when some of us, as a brilliant or not, idea to settle, to invent agriculture, to create complex market, to create complex civilization, cities. That's the world we are living in now. But even so, for thousands of years, growth didn't really happen. There started to be a big change here, in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. For all this time, we mostly use wood, wind, and water through wind and water mines. And suddenly, in the beginning of the 19th century, we started to understand that there is an access to a fantastic resource, fossil energy. First, coal and oil and gas. And this fossil energy is a limited stock accumulated on this planet through the decomposition of organic matter for hundreds of millions of years. And in these 200 years, here you see, we started to use 80% of everything that we are doing relying on this fossil energy. It grows, it grows, it grows. Like for world population, we know very well that sooner or later we will reach a peak and it will decline because it's a limited stock. Parallelly to that, this fossil energy allows us to build everything you see around. The microphone I'm talking in, the food I had in the morning to have energy to talk to you, the transport I took to join you here at Seagate Festival and so on. What you are sitting on is 80% oil, it's energy, it's resources which are limited. And it has an impact. It creates all this exponential curve, like the one you saw for world population growth and energy consumption. It's about biodiversity loss. It's about the destruction of the planet where we are living in. It's also the number of McDonald's, the number of cars. When do we stop this great acceleration, which is a self-destructive acceleration? We go up there, and sooner or later we know that it has to stop, because if not, the very basic condition of our survival of a life species on this only planet, what we know, which is livable for us, is over. When I say we, I speak about a minority of people on this planet. Us, the Western world. A minority of people who appropriated resources from the other part of the world and exploited people to experience this hubris, this highly consumerist model of society. And here you see on this map the countries which are corrected, the size is corrected with environmental impact. And you can see that the global north is very obese, whereas the global south, from where most of the resources are coming from, is very small. We steal resources to achieve that because there is not enough resources for every citizen on this planet to experience what we are doing, and we already overpassed the very basic condition of survival of the environment on this planet. I stop with the bad news. Let's start to go with the good news. The first good news is that after a certain level, when you've already fulfilled the very basic condition of survival for the people, after a certain level of growth, you don't need growth anymore. Growth is not effective to produce more well-being. And I would say that you reach even a point where more growth will create more problem, that it brings solution. And most of the richest countries in the world are more here. We keep on fighting to always produce more. We wake up in the morning to do things what we don't really need to destroy the planet and not to fulfill any kind of basic needs. While doing so, we also destroy basic well-being. There is an alternative to that. As you can see here at the picking point, we can go to another direction, and it's time to do it. The other good news is that everywhere, surveys are showing that there are majorities, cultural majorities, of people who are ready to move out of this growth model of society. People start to get sick with their bullshit job, unmeaningful activities, stress, violence, a lot of things where we realize that we are destroying the planet without producing more well-being. It's time to step out, and majorities are ready to step out. So to conclude this first part, science is telling us that the end of growth, what we've been experiencing in the last 200 years, and particularly in the last decades, is unavoidable because it relies on resources which are limited. And sooner or later, and we are reaching this point, it won't be possible anymore to keep on going in the same direction. It's not only unavoidable, it's necessary. If we don't decide democratically to move out of this system depending on always more economic growth and so on, there won't be any life possible for us, as we know, on this planet. The good news is that it's desirable. We need to move out of growth to reappropriate what are really meaningful life, what are really our basic needs, and how to fulfill them in a sustainable way. And it's desired. People are ready, but only under two conditions. It should be implemented fairly, which means that the richer you are, the more you have to redistribute and the more you have to make an effort. And it has to be democratic. Through deliberation and participation, people are ready if we co-construct together. With degrowth. So let's degrowth. Degrowth is this picture down. How to move out of this dystopian way and emancipate and liberate ourselves and explore. Explore a lot of wonderful ways to be sustainable, convivial, happy, and be creative and do that. When do we start? Right now. I will share with you my experience through a small storytelling with Cargonomia. Today I am with a beautiful suit with you, not a suit, a shirt, in the festival to speak about degrowth. Yesterday I was just finishing a camp on eco-construction in Cargonomia. Cargonomia is a cooperative, what we co-founded with a group of friends more than 10 years ago here in Budapest. It's a cooperative based on degrowth, where collectively we try to explore. Also with research projects, in reflecting on what we are doing, we try to explore, is it possible to live in a sustainable way, in being happy? And Cargonomia, I really hope, will bring you hope and happiness today. So to do so, I will make an exercise of storytelling, telling the story of what is a year of my life in the last 10 years in Cargonomia. I start, of course, in winter. In winter, we start to slow down. We start to rest. We enter into hibernation after a very exhausting and fantastic year. We're happy. We move back more to Budapest in our cozy flats. Cozy alternative bars, restaurants. We meet friends. We reflect. We talk. We read. We write. We party. That's Christmas. We like to party at Christmas and so on. But winter is about to reach its end very soon. So we have to turn to the next year. So we start to organize our meetings to plan. This year, what do we want to do? What kind of project we want to develop? What will we plant in our gardens? What do we want to eat? What kind of new skills do we want to share? Do we want to learn? What kind of festival, what kind of conference do we want to go to? What kind of people do we want to welcome? So we plan. Very soon, spring is arriving. The new group of students, because Cargonomia is also an open university, is arriving. They bring a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. People coming from all around the world with their views, their ambitions, their ideas. Spring, we start to have the festival outside, like the iBike Budapest, a Cargo Bike Budapest, the biggest bike event in the world with thousands of people by bike celebrating, communing all together in the streets of Budapest. We start to go to the garden, we start to plant, and we wait step by step that the things will start to grow, and we cannot wait for experiencing the good tastes of what we've been planting and so on. Spring is going very, very quickly, and arrives the summer. The summer is crazy. It's about the camps, it's about the festivals, it's about the conferences, about welcoming a lot of people in the farm. And then we move to another way of life. Most of us, we move to the farm. We live there. We spend good night every evening in singing, dancing, talking around the fire. We bring the children are running up and down, and we learn new skills, and we eat our veggie, we cook together, and so on. It's a bit exhausting. Soon the summer is over, arrives the autumn. Autumn, we start to prepare for the winter. We prepare the soil. We will cover the soil that it can rest and be fertile. We have still some festivals, some events, some conferences, and then the winter is arriving again. We've been experiencing one more year, different than the one before and different than the one next. Every day was a festival. Every day was a symphony. Every day we connected our head, our heart, our hands in doing thousands of things. We were coordinating projects, we were dancing, we were writing, we were reading, we were riding bicycle, we were repairing things, we were creating low-tech technologies to fulfill our basic needs. We were gardening. We were having conflicts sometimes. We were joking, we were laughing. That's life. And we did it with a very large diversity of people from all around the world, sometimes traveling by train, visiting us, coming by bike. We have students spending time with us from all around Europe, and they come to spend 6 months here in Budapest with us by bike. The training period starts in a wonderful trip by bike. So this is what I call degrowth and what we experienced for 10 years. It brings hope, as we can see that there are alternatives to the very toxic world and self-destructive dynamic we are stuck in. It brings hope, and degrowth is really about sustainability, of course, and conviviality and autonomy. So thank you very much for your attention.